Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video, and if you're new to this channel, I am Vivian, and today we'll be stitching an off-shoulder neckline dart bustier. So in my previous video I taught how to cut it, so if you haven't watched that video, don't worry, just finish watching this one so that you get the idea of sewing it. Then you can go to the description box below. You see the arrow pointing down, click on it. It will take you to the description box where you will see the link to how I cut this off-shoulder neckline dart bustier. Okay, I've talked a lot about princess dart bustier on this channel. So today we are making neckline dart. So you know the princess dart is the armhole dart. I have also taught shoulder dart. So today we are going to make neckline dart. Okay, so I have already cut it in the previous video. So today it's stitching, and then because I don't want the video to be too long, I have already placed the pattern on the fabric and cut. So if you followed the previous tutorial, you would be familiar with these patterns. Okay, so you can see the front. This is our front pattern and this is our back pattern. Okay, so you can see it. If you watch the previous video, you see that this is what we had there. So I have transferred my fabric, that I have placed the paper on my fabric and I cut. So this is what we have. So this is the center, this is the center front, and this is the side. This is the side front. Okay, so now I would cut the satin that will be under the lace. Okay, so this is what I will do. You know the way the lace is, before cutting the lining, I would use the satin to make it stable, because you know sometimes this lace is as stretchy, and if you cut your lining exactly the shape of the lace, you will find out that the lining will be shorter later. So what I will do is to cut the satin that will be under the lace, and I will not cut exactly the shape. So this is what I will do. I will just place it on the satin and I'll cut out a portion. So let me just do this. This is what I mean. So you know the satin will be under the lace, so you place the wrong side of the lace on the right side of the satin. So I have cut out the satin that will be under the lace, but you can see the way I cut it. I didn't cut it exactly the shape of the lace fabric. Okay, so this is what I will do. Now there are different ways to do this. In fact, I'm going to make another video, a detailed video on how you can place your satin under your lace. Okay, I'm going to make a detailed video on that, but for now let's just continue what we are doing. So this is what I will do. I would take my lace, and I'm doing this because of the type of lace I'm using. So in the detailed video I will make, I'll show you how you can do this with different types of lace, because there are some laces that are nets. Okay,
so I'll be making use of hemming gum. So the idea here is just to make the satin and the lace one piece, so that the lace will no longer be stretchy. Okay, there are some laces that when you're working with them, they stretch a lot. So I'm showing you the idea of how you can prevent the lace from stretching. So you just cut your hemming gum and you spread it on the lace. So there are different types of laces, okay, and there are laces that are in net form. So I'll be making another video to show you how you can do this depending on the kind of lace you are using. So if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe and turn on the bell beside it so that you'll be notified when I upload that video. So this is to prevent your lace from stretching. Okay, so just watch what I am doing.
so you can see I have placed my hemming gum on every part of the lace. So the next thing I'll take now is to take the satin fabric. So remember, I'm doing this on the wrong side of the lace. On the wrong side of the lace. Now the right side of the satin will be on it, the good side, because the satin will be under the lace. So I'll just place it like this. I'll just place it. So this is why I didn't cut the lace, the satin exactly the same shape with the lace. So having done this, I will now spray water. So if you have steam iron, you can make use of your steam iron. Okay, if you don't, then you use a spray bottle like I'm doing. Just spray water slightly, then we're going to iron it. Okay, so just iron it slightly. So this is a very, very easy way to make your satin and your lace stay together. So even if you're using a stretchy lace, this is the way to go about it. So by the time you are done, you will then turn it over. So you can see what I have here. Then you trim out the excess, so you can still iron on the lace if it is the lace that you can iron on. Okay, so by the time you have done it this way, you now cut out the excess satin. Okay, so you can see this. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing to the others. Okay, so you can see how I cut them the same way, just cutting the satin like that. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing to all of them, and I'll have my satin and my lace as one piece like this. So with this now, I can cut on my lining fabric. Okay, that is the cotton lining fabric for turning it without any fear of the lining becoming shorter later on. So I can go ahead and cut it now because the lace is now in place. It is no longer stretchy. Okay, so that is what I will do. Then I'll show you the next step. So you can see what I have here. I've done for all of them, and the lace and the satin, they are now one piece and easy to work with. So you can see. So with this now, I cut out the lining. Okay, so I've cut out the lining. Now there's no fear of the lining becoming shorter than the lace because the lace will no longer be stretchy. So having done this, the next thing now is to mark my, because this is what I usually do whenever I make bustier. I have also shown that in the previous videos. I usually notch the bust point. Okay, I usually notch the bust point, and you can also notch the under bust point. So it's very necessary so that you can align it when you're stitching. Okay, so this is it. So this is the bust point. So I'm just marking it. So I'll notch it. So I'll do the same thing to this other side. So I'll just notch. So just notch it slightly. And you do same to this other one. This is the bust point. I'll notch. And to this one. So having notched the bust point, the next thing is to cut the wording. Okay, so this is the wording. This is lightweight wording. So the client doesn't want to take one because she's busty. So now the wording has visible side, that side that sticks to the fabric when you iron on it, but there are some that don't stick. So this is what I'll do. I'll place the lace on it, that is the visible side, like so. Then I'll go ahead to cut. Now to cut, I'll make sure that I leave 1 inch from the neckline, and the wording will get to the under bust, that is a little bit under the under bust. Okay, so that is just what I'll do. Then at the armhole area too, I'll leave a little space because you will not want to encounter the line, the wording when you're stitching the sleeve. So but this is the lightweight wording, it can still go, but I'll still create that I'll still cut it off. That is not allowing the wording to get exactly to that edge. So now you just arrange it. So you just arrange your wording that is arrange the lace under the wadding like this, so it's getting to the under bust. Okay, I'll go ahead and just cut it out. So you see why you need to also notch your bust point. It will help you align it so that the wadding can be at the under bust like so. Okay, so the next thing is just to cut. So after cutting it, I'll trim out 1 inch from the neckline. That is 1 inch of the wadding from the neckline, as well as this side. So I don't want it to get to the hem, okay, the edge. So I have to turn it and cut out some part of it. So this is what I have here. So I can easily use this one to cut the other one. So let me cut out the center front. So after cutting the center piece, I will now use this other one to cut for this side. What I'll simply do is just place it the right side facing each other like so, and I'll cut it out. So after cutting it, just place it back. Okay, so you can even mark the bust point. So I also notch the bust points on my wadding as well. So it will just help you align it easily. Okay. So after notching the bust points, I'll just trim out 1 inch. Same on this side. When I stitch my lining, I don't want the wadding to affect that part, the neckline, so it won't be thick. Okay, so what I'll do is just cut out 1 inch. Then when I stitch my lining by ½ inch, the wadding will be around ½ inch to the top or to the neckline. So I'll just mark 1 inch and trim it off. I know the chalk is not showing, but I'm seeing it. Okay, so that is it. And I'll do same thing at this side. So this is my wadding. So this is it. Now you can see why I say notch the bust point. So this is what will help you align it. No longer like this. It's no longer from the neckline. So by the time you align the bust point like this, your wadding will be like this. Okay, under. Okay, they are white. That is why you cannot see it clearly. But this is it. This is where the wadding will get to. So let me turn it to this other side so you see it. Then for this one, just align it at the bust point. Okay, so by the time you align everything like this, just go ahead and stitch aligning the bust point. Okay, just put it together like so. You pin it down at the bust point like this. Then you can stitch all the way up like so, and you stitch all the way down. So the most important part is this bust point. So by the time you are able to get it, whatever you have at the neckline or at the lower part can easily be trimmed. Okay, so just make sure you get this point together. This is how you get a nice bustier. Make sure that these bust points are together. So by the time you have done that, you start stitching from that side. You can stitch all the way up, then all the way down. So even if you get to the top and doesn't align well, whatever unevenness you have there, you can balance it. You can trim and have it balanced than starting anyhow and at the bust point you not have it sitting well or aligning well. So this is the method I use. So I'll go ahead and join it, then stitch the lining and attach the lining from the neckline and do every other thing. Then I'll also show you the zipper part. Okay, so let me do all that so that this video will not be too long. So there's no need showing you the stitching area because a lot of you sometimes just complain about long videos. So you have already seen what I've done. I've set it just to stitch all the way down and do the same thing to the lining. Align the lining at the bust point just as I did on the main fabric and stitch. So I'll go ahead and do every other thing and show you the next step, which is the zipper area. It's a very simple thing. Okay, so let's do that. All right, you can see I have stitched it and you can see our bustier. Even though the wording is a very light one, very light, it's just like hairstay, but still, as long as you created your cup well, you have the room to accommodate the bust. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you're using a hard, though the only thing about hard wording is that it will just stand even without bra, it will just stand. But the cup is the most important thing, that is creating the cup, the room for the bust. Because if you don't create the bust cup, the room for the bust to sit, even if you're using hard wording, it will not come out nice. Okay, so you can see this, so you can see how well seated it is. So having done this, the next thing is to notch the seam allowance, and you can see. So remember what I said, you start sewing from the bust point. By the time you have stitched from the bust point, you get to the neckline and you also get to the lower part. What you do now, you trim any unevenness, any excess you have there. Inside now, you would notch your seam allowance, that you notch your seam and you open it up like so and iron it. So just go ahead and notch. So when you come to the under bust here, you also notch it so that it can open well and sit well. Okay, so just carefully notch, then you open and iron. So I've also made a tutorial on this channel on how to pad your bustier, so that one is very, very detailed. So I'll drop the link in the description box so that you can check it out. So this is just simply notch, and I'll place my ironing board under it, open it up like so and iron it. So want it to be relaxed inside. Okay, so now I'll place my ironing board under it, but I'll just cover it because I'm working with white fabric, don't want any stain. So just place it under the bust and open up your seam like so, and you give it a very good press. Okay, so you just open it up, and you iron it like so. Okay, so that is just simply what you do, open it up and you iron it. So I'll go ahead and do everything. So like I said, I have a detailed video on that, so I don't want this video to be too long. I've already made a video on how you can pad your bustier, so you can check that out. So when you're done opening it up like this, you also put your ironing board on this other side as well. Okay, and you'd iron the front so that the bust cup would open up well, so that you won't have any sharp edge or anything looking funny. So you can see this, so make sure that it is well placed. Okay, so you just open it up very well like so. So you can see the difference between where I have ironed and where I have not ironed. Sorry for the noise in the background, please. So you can see the difference between where I have ironed and where I have not ironed. So that is it. It will give it a very nice cup when you iron it. and make sure it is still opened up, the seam is opened while you place it on the ironing board. Okay. So after doing this, the next thing is to go ahead and sew the lining. So I'll go ahead and sew the lining to it. Okay, then move over to sewing the back. All right, I have lined the lace. It's now time to fix the zipper. Okay, and then here is the front as well. I've sewn the lining, so you can see this. Okay, so now for the zipper, sorry about the noise in the background, please. To sew the zipper so that there won't be zipper bulge, just look find your waist point. So for me, I have marked the waist point. So because this is white fabric, I don't want to mark color chalk on it, but I hope you understand from the explanation I'm giving. So I have marked my waist point. So here exactly is the waist point. Now this is a blouse, and it's for an elderly woman. She will tie wrapper on it, and they usually like the hip area to be a bit open. So at this edge, I would mark 2.5 inch. 2.5 inches, okay, is what I'm using. So this is where the zip will stop. So this part will be open. Now at the waistline, I'll come in by So at the waistline, I'll come in by 0.7 inch. Okay. So now sometimes you use 1 inch, sometimes 0.5, sometimes 0.75. So it depends on how the person's back is. Even without doing this here, this blouse will still be okay on the person because she's tying wrapper on it. But I just want to use this to show you what you can do on either your blouse, gown and all that without that, and that doesn't have a half cut. You know, I'll also make a video for the one that have half cut where you join peplum. Okay, but this one is for straight. So this, whatever we are doing here, is the same thing you can do on a straight gown and all that. Just go to the waist points. Okay, come in by, I'm using 0.75. You mark on this side and you mark on the other side. So this is actually what I do. So when you have marked it, so I'm marking it very hard with my white chalk. I'm seeing it, but I know you can't see it because it is white, so I don't want to mark color chalk on it, but just follow the explanation. By the time you have marked in by 0.75 as I'm using, now connect it to the bust point, or you just connect it back to this edge, and connect to this edge as well. So if you're going to get, if the zipper is going to get to the last point, to the hip, you connect it to that point. But since this is where the zipper will get to, I will just connect it to that point like so. I'll just connect it to where the zipper will get to, and from that point as well back to the edge here. So just go up like so. Now I said this when I was drafting, that I don't cut anything. So what I do is, when I'm fixing my zipper, it will just, you mark your zipper allowance, 1 inch zipper allowance. Now just listen, this is my 1 inch zipper allowance. Okay, I'm marking my 1 inch zipper allowance like so. So by the time you come to that hip point, you also go in by the 1 inch zipper allowance from where you mark 0.75. Okay, this is it. So now this is what I'll do. I'll place my zipper like so, following my mark. Okay, and you also come here, you mark your 1 inch zipper allowance like so. So this is how it will go. Now I will use a colored rope to show you this. So because you can't see my chalk, let me use this rope to show you what I have here. I marked my 1 inch zipper allowance. This is where it is. So it's going like this. Then at that hip, at that waist point where I came in by 0.75, I also took 1 inch zipper allowance from there. So this is how it will go. Are you seeing it? Like this. It's going back to 1-inch zipper allowance like so. So let me just place it. This 1-inch zipper allowance, it's going straight, but at that hip, at that waist point, it will move in a little bit, then it will go back like so. Okay, so this is actually how I will fix my zipper, like this, and like this. So at that waist point, it will take care of the curve. You can see that it's a bit curvy here, so this will eliminate that zipper bulge you usually see at the back. So this will eliminate the zipper bulge you usually see at the back of a dress or blouse. So are you seeing the shape that this part, which is the waist point, is a bit deeper than the other parts? So that is how I'll fix my zipper, like so and this way. There's no need to cut anything. Okay, so now to fix my zipper, I would, since the zipper is starting from this side, this is where my 1-inch from here, so this is where it will be. So I'll place my zipper. Now I'll follow the mark. I will just place it down like so at that mark I made here. That's where the zipper will get to. Then I'll pin it down. So I would follow the curve. I'll just follow the curve. Can you see the way the zipper is? So I just hope you can see this because it's the same color. So it went like this, like this. So you can see the hip, the waist area. Don't know why I keep saying hip area. You can see the waist area. So let me use this red color bias to show you. You can see the way it went. It's going back to the 1-inch. So you can see, so this curve you're seeing now would eliminate the zipper bulge. So I'll go ahead and stitch. So I will just stitch it the way you see. There's no need showing you the sewing machine because I can't move my camera now. But from this explanation, I know it is clear to you. All I need to do, haven't pinned it down. The way I pinned it is just how I would go ahead and stitch. By the time I'm done stitching this side, I'll show it to you before we move to the other side. So you can see by the time I turn it, this is what I would have here. You can see this. So let me just stitch it. I'll show it to you. Then I'll show you how you would also place this one to align it, to make sure that everything align and sits very well. Okay. So I have sewn it. As you can see, I've sewn the zipper, and this is exactly what I pinned down. You can see from this side my 1-inch zipper allowance. At the waist point, you see the one and the space. Then at this edge, you see the 1-inch zipper allowance, and you can see this is how it has gone. So now we are done with this side, and this is what it looks like. You can see this side now. So for this one now, you take it over like this. Okay, then you turn it. So there are things you need to take note of. You need to align your neckline. So I've seen sometimes where people fix zipper, one side will be longer than the other. So now forget the zipper allowance for now. Just align. You have to align this neckline. Okay, so make sure they are aligning the two sides. You align it and you pin it down. Okay, so align it and you pin it down. Okay, so just all you need to do is align. That is making sure that they match at this neckline. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. Just making sure that the neckline align here. Then I'll pin the zipper down. So after pinning this side, if it's a straight, if you're just fixing your zipper straight to the end, then you can go ahead and fix. But if you have other parts like joining, like if it's a peplon, you have to join. So you have to make sure that the part where you join the top and the lower part align as well. So for me in this case is this side. So I would also make sure that it aligns at this point as well, like so. So I'll just make sure that this one is also on the same level with the other one. Okay, so this is it. So by the time you turn, you should see that everything, you have the same length of fabric, the same measurement you took here is what you should have on the other side. So align at the neckline and align at every other point where you have to make sure that they are equal. So you pin it down there as well. So you pin it. Having done this, having aligned all the parts that need to be aligned, then you start pinning your zipper irrespective of where it fell, or irrespective of where you have it. It doesn't the zipper allowance doesn't matter anymore. You have taken this side. The next one is to just align. After align, then you stretch it like this. Just see what I'm doing, then you pin it down. So make sure that everything is equal. Then at the waist area too, you can just go in a little bit, okay, but don't leave your neck area and the other point where you pin down. So I'll just go ahead and pin my zipper, then I will stitch it. Okay, so you can see what I have here. I've pinned it down. Okay, so now let's turn to the other side. So by the time we turn to the other side, you can see at the neckline, can you see the neckline? They are aligning. At this other side, can you see what I have here? Can you see that they are aligning? So that is it. I have settled the back. Just doing it this way will just give you a nice back. So I'll go ahead and sew this one the way it is now. Okay, so the way I pinned it down, that is just how I would stitch it. Okay, and we have our back. So let me do just that and show it to you. So this is it. Okay, so this is just the method I use, and everything is just okay. Even at this other side, you see everything okay. You see the neckline being the same. You see everything relaxing. So now to cut out your excess zipper, make sure you zip it down. Okay, make sure you zip it down, and you can cut out the excess. Then you take it to the back like so. Okay, and you just tack it a little bit here. The same thing, you just take it to the back of, to the back this side, and you turn it and you tack it a little bit. So that is it for the back. So you can see everything. So by the time you have done this, now you join it to the front. Okay, advise that when you're stitching, always start from the lower part so that everything will be nice at this point. By the time you get to the armhole, if there's any need for any adjustment, then you can trim. Okay, so you can see, but mine is aligning, they are okay. So you start stitching from the down, from the edge here, then you get to the armhole. So by the time you get to the armhole, if it is not aligning here, you can just give it a nice trim, but mine is okay, so it's aligning. So I'll go ahead and join from the lower part to the armhole. Okay, then I'll fix the sleeve. Okay, so the sleeve would not have lining. So for the sleeve, I will only line the top part by about, let's say, 1.5 inch. Okay, I'll just cut 1.5 inch. The length of the lining for the sleeve will be 1.5 inch, just here. That's where I will line. Then the rest of the part will be plain. Then I also fix 360-degree flare that I will cut with organza. So I have a video on this channel how to make a 360-degree flare. So I don't want this video to be too long. So I'll just cut the flare, attach it here. Then I'll go ahead and join the sleeve after lining the top. So this is it for our blouse. You can see, okay? Remember, we didn't use hard wadding, but to have the cup. The cup is here already. The bust cup is well formed. But with if you use hard wadding, it will just stand. But the client doesn't want that. So see the sleeve. I've joined the off shoulder sleeve. as you can see. So I used lining, that is the satin as the lining, and I used hemming gum to make it flat. Okay, so you can see our off shoulder sleeve. You can see the neckline of our blouse, well rounded. So you can see the off shoulder neckline. So I'll be embellishing the neckline of this blouse with fabric flowers. So I made fabric flowers. Yes, I made them myself, as you can see. So I'll be making a video on how I made these flowers. So if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I upload the video. Okay, so and you can also check the description box, because by the time I upload that video, I would also drop the link in the description box. So depending on when you are seeing this video, you can check the description box to see if I have placed the link there. So I can go ahead and watch to see how I made these flowers. Very, very easy. And in fact, if you are to buy it, you know that making it yourself would give you a lot of gain. Yes. When I wanted to buy the flowers in the market, one like this sells for 150 naira if you're in Nigeria. 150 naira. But I bought this fabric, it's a crepe fabric. I bought half yard for 400 naira. I bought a pack of this bead for 100 naira. So this is the bead. I bought a pack for 100 naira, and the crepe fabric I bought half yard for 400 naira. So everything I spent is 500. And this is something you do with needle and thread. The only part you use gum is just to put the beads. Okay, so if you are interested in seeing the video, you can check the description box, and or you subscribe if you are yet to subscribe, so that when I upload the video, you'd see it. So you can see what I have here. Hope this is beautiful. Okay, so to my own opinion, it is. It is beautiful. So I'll use needle and thread, okay, hand needle and thread to just tack it all round to the back. Yes, I made enough that will go round to the back as well. So we'll have it like so. Okay, so I hope you like this video. Please give it a like, share with your friends, and in fact, if you have not subscribed, I don't know what you're still waiting for. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell beside it so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you for watching. Remain blessed. See you in my next video.